In this video, I have Phil Taylor, who is the design director for Silver Cross, one of the world's oldest stroller brands. And I'm really excited about this interview because it's so rare that we actually get to learn from an actual stroller designer. You know, people like me are totally obsessed with strollers, and we see the final product. And we've been dealing with strollers and seeing strollers for so many years as parents, as for us, for people who like present and educate people on strollers. So I think you'll find this interview really cool. Learn a little bit about how strollers are developed and what is the process that goes into the designing and engineering strollers. And so I'm really, really excited about it. Hello, Phil.
Hi, Ellie. How are you?
Phil, where are you right now? Tell me where we're talking to you from and how you're doing.
Well, I'm in England, obviously. I'm at home, and it's a beautiful day outside. And yeah, we're all working from home, and we're continuing on as good as we can in the current circumstances.
As we all are, I'm working from home as well. I've found a quiet place in my house where my children are not going to bother me today. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about you and about Silver Cross and about the development of baby gear and of strollers. So tell me, Phil, how did you end up becoming a stroller designer? Like, where did you learn about design? What's your design background? Tell me a little bit about you. Tell everyone about a little bit about you.
Okay. I did a degree and graduated in product design from Northumbria University, which is in Newcastle in the north of England. So basically, it was very much focused on designing better products, innovative products. I often describe the discipline as similar to an architect, but on a smaller scale. So developing consumer products, looking at ways to innovate through user-centered design, through just applying lateral thinking and conceptualizing. So that was my degree. So it was already, very much a creative activity that had a certain design process that you went through and we learned about. I then, like a lot of design graduates in the UK, went into London. So I lived in London for a number of years, working as a consultant product designer for a product design consultancy in London. Obviously, London is such a design capital, like New York, like LA and Paris, and lots of cities around the world. So in the UK, many design graduates do go into London and get their first experience in that environment. From there, I then moved out to Cambridge, which is just outside London, and continued to work in product design consultancy, where we were producing or designing products for different clients. So it could be, different sort of sectors. So it could be furniture or electronics, but they were generally all consumer focused, consumer products. And that's one of the joys, really, of consultancy, in that you get such a wide variety of different things to work on, and it is an activity that is kind of you're parachuting into businesses, so you're not part of the in-house team, and it's a different experience. So a lot of my experience in the early part of my career was in product design consultancy. I then did a short spell at a business in Cambridge in industry, so as an in-house designer, which is a slightly different experience. But my experience now at Silver Cross, actually, I endorsed that, funnily enough, more than the consultancy side. And I think product design consultancy has become more tough over recent years anyway. So from Cambridge, I then started to do a little bit of work out in Hong Kong. So again, in product design, got involved in toys, which was the closest I got at that point to the nursery sector. And then I met Nick Paxton in 2003, who is CEO, as you know, of Silver Cross. And I started doing some work with Silver Cross as a consultant on the product design side. It was at a time when Silver Cross was obviously, as a massively established business, established in 1877. It had just re-emerged under new ownership at that time, and Nick and I worked together on re-establishing, the product range, and that was really my first time designing nursery products. And it's interesting, product design is a discipline that can cross over different industry sectors. It's quite an interesting thing in that respect, that the process is the same. Obviously, as you get experience in the sector, you understand more about the wants and needs and the technical challenges and the standards and all those things you know about yourself, Ellie. So at that time, we started that process. Nick had been in the industry at that time before for a number of years. So Nick and I worked very closely together at that time to start to develop the range. And then in 2004, we discussed me joining as a full-time employed designer, and that's what happened. I mean, I could always see, and still can, the massive potential in Silver Cross as a brand. You know, it's a fantastic brand and a great company. So I agreed to join. I jumped at the chance to join at that time, and then over the years from there, we've been, really ambitious in our product developments, and we continue to be. And so from 2004 to the present day, I've been building a team, and we've been creating what I think are exceptional products for an exceptional brand.
Wow, so you've been at Silver Cross such a long time. So when you arrived there, 2003, 2004, was it primarily the prams, the more classic stuff, or were they already getting into sort of more modern strollers? And can you tell me a little bit about how the classic side and the modern side sort of like interact with each other? Is there any type of interaction between those two types of products?
Yeah, I mean, we are unusual in that, or unique, I think, in that we still manufacture the carriage traditional heritage prams in the UK, not far from where I'm sitting today, actually. And they were products that were re-established very, very quickly, very early on. And when we started looking at the complementary products, we did start with product that was just looking at majoring on the traditional reputation for Silver Cross. So we developed a product called Sleepover, which was a soft-bodied version, really. It was more practical in that it folded down more neatly and more compact, and the body was, as I say, a soft-bodied bassinet rather than the hard-bodied bassinet. But we started to develop product that was really what we thought the market expected of the Silver Cross brand at that time. And that's what we did. We also then realised that we needed to make sure that what we developed was relevant to modern lifestyle. So I think still one of the strengths of the Silver Cross brand is the ability to mix contemporary and traditional together. You know, it's this wonderful mixture of a really contemporary element mixed with some traditional values and some craft and craftsmanship. You see it in architecture a lot, don't you? And I know I talk about things like architecture, but it does have an impact on what we do. You know, you can mix old and new in interiors and architecture extremely successfully, and that's the type of approach that we take to mixing traditional and modern with our pushchairs and prams.
It's so interesting to hear you talk because, like you said, Silver Cross is such a old brand, and there's so much history to sort of draw upon when you're designing new products. And we get questions all the time in our company about these new products, these new brands that sort of appear overnight, direct to consumer brands that folks just like go to the Far East and they make a stroller. But it's so interesting to hear that like Silver Cross has come from a different perspective. There is so much to draw upon in terms of like in your history to make the products that we see today. What do you think sort of makes Silver Cross products different and more special, or than from other sort of more newer brands or different brands?
I think first of all, we have 3 brand pillars of crafted, trusted, and loved. And the first word, crafted, is really, I think, epitomizes our approach to design. We are obsessed with every detail, with every material and finish. The quality of what we do, both in terms of the quality of the design itself and the quality of the end manufactured product, is everything. I think we do things with, as I said earlier, the mixture of something that's got this classic, timeless elegance with a contemporary element And that's one of the unique elements about what we do. I think a really key mixture of timeless classic with contemporary and relevant to modern parents. That to me is a real sort of benchmark for us when we design anything. If you look at the Jet, for example, you've got some fairly big innovation in the way that product functions, but then you look at the fabrication and what we've done with the detailing, and it's got that mixture of exquisite detail with contemporary functionality. I think, it is unique as a brand. It's been around since 1877. It's probably the world's most established brand, and I think that history does shape our future. The origin of Silver Cross was through innovation, through the C Spring innovation, and that idea of continuing on that innovative approach is very much part of Silver Cross today.
So let's talk about the Wave for a second, because Silver Cross Wave is one of their premier products that's on the market right now. And I remember coming to an American trade show a couple of years ago, and basically out of nowhere, this wonderful, innovative product sort of came out. And Silver Cross had forayed into America a number of times, but all of a sudden, this Wave product sort of appeared, and it sort of took the nation by storm. It was really, really cool. Tell me, where did that product come from? How did it get developed? Tell me a little bit of history about that, and how to me, that seems like the model of things going forward. Am I right about that? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, there were two concepts behind Wave originally. The first thing was this idea that, we'd seen the trend, as I'm sure you have and other people had at the time, of, generally families leaving it later in life to start a family, and therefore being more financially secure, and then looking to have a short career break and have more than one child relatively close together. This is a trend that's been emerging over really all markets in the world, and the average age of first-time mums has been going up. And so the idea was that we thought about how you would look to future-proof a purchase. So you're not necessarily looking to think about number two before number one's been delivered, but this idea of being able to future-proof and being able to accommodate a toddler and a newborn was really interesting to us. So that was part of the concept to begin with, and then we wanted Wave also to be right at the top of our sort of product hierarchy. It is the most luxurious, the most finely detailed product we've ever produced, and it's contemporary, and it's got innovation, and it's very relevant to the way people are living their lives. Plus, you've got this idea that if you do want to convert it to a twin, you can do that quickly and easily. So they were the two main driving forces, really. And I always think that Wave is such a great product just as a single, even if you don't want to use it as a twin or a 1+1. It just is a beautiful, high quality, beautifully designed Silver Cross product, as I say, and it was always intended to be at the top of our product hierarchy in terms of retail price and in terms of its detailing and its quality. So I think the other thing is that it's still unique that it is a 1+1 straight out of the box, and that was quite a key concept as well. Is that you don't have to buy anything extra to accommodate a newborn and a toddler with Wave, but you can if you want to. So yeah, they were the main sort of driving forces at the time in terms of the development.
Can you talk a little bit of something, whenever I talk to you about your product, can you give our viewers a little bit insight into some of the finishes or the design or some of the fine detail that that people may not know about the product, things that go into the product that are just might be unique for people to learn about?
Yeah, I think it starts with the overall concept for us. So the team, who are a really dedicated and fantastic team of people, will start at in researching and trend, and a lot of the fabric influences come from fashion and interiors. They are the two main sources of of inspiration for the fabric side, and on the hardware side, on the plastics and the metal elements, it's often automotive, bicycle shows. So the guys will go. In the past, have been to Geneva and Frankfurt motor shows, and there's a real passion to bring the two together. The team is divided into hardware designers who have a product design background, and then the fabric team, which have a textiles, a drapery, or a fashion design background. So, and these guys all work very closely together. So we like to think that we get a great integration between the fabrication side of the thing and the hardware thing. They both go very much hand in hand, and we're often amazed at how a frame colour, so a frame on a stroller, the colour is influenced so much by the colour of the fabrics and vice versa. So you could use the same frame colour on a certain stroller, change the fabric, and the frame colour will look a different colour. So it's really, we talk about this type of thing all the time. So in terms of intricacies, obviously the engineering side of it is all about making it work beautifully, so that it folds perfectly, so that every adjustment has got a really satisfying click and sound to it. And then on the fabric side, it's all about refinement. It's about the quality of the fabric to begin with. We do a lot of work on finding the right quality of fabric. We look at different materials like bamboo, which is obviously a natural material, and it's got natural properties like antibacterial and temperature regulating. So we're looking at all of these new developments and technologies in fabrics as well. And then we look at colour and construction. And as I say, colour is, well, it's, as you know, it's a trend analysis all on its own, isn't it? There's a whole world of colour analysts out there, but that's critically important. And then the final bit is the trim and the detailing, and there's a hell of a lot of effort that goes into badging and zip pullers and trim and piping, and the use of, again, different types of materials and finishes. There's a huge amount of effort goes into that, and it's those details and those finishing touches that really, I think, again, make the difference with our products and other people's products.
Yeah, the products are just so beautiful, and I know when you adjust the wave from the bottom position to the top position, you have that really wonderful click and that little it snaps right. It just sounds so good. So you have one person out there who definitely has an appreciation for that. Phil, we're all facing like really challenging times right now. We're doing this interview in the middle of the COVID-19 time, like so we're both from home. And as artists and designers, art is a lot about like solving problems and sort of facing different challenges. Can you think about any time in your history with Silver Cross of a particularly challenging, a particularly challenging time, or a particularly challenging moment that you had to solve that problem?
Yeah, it's I think everyone, obviously, our thoughts are with everybody at the moment. It is difficult times, and the thing is, we will get through it. And I think with design, like you say, there's a lot of problem solving as part of the process. That in many ways that's what it's all about. You have to go around different iterations and solve problems on a daily basis. So it is something that we're used to on a daily basis. I think specific challenges. There are challenges every single day. I think product development is one of the most difficult things to do in business, as you know, and getting it right is also where the biggest rewards are. So, we have challenges every day. I think thinking back to the early days, it was difficult because it was, we were learning really. It was a time when we were building new relationships with our manufacturing partners, and of course that was a challenge. Specifically, I'm just trying to think if I can think of anything specific in terms of a massive challenge. I think probably, I think we did some products back in 2007 where we really did push the innovation button quite hard, and we were doing things that no one had done before. We did a product back then called Dazzle and another one called Doodle, which were both you know, at the time, incredibly different and innovative, and that was challenging. And it was also a lesson for me in that the Doodle product, which was a high chair that converted to a low table and a low chair with several patents involved around it, quite clever things going on. Yeah, it was a good concept, and it was different and innovative, but it didn't really satisfy the brand values of Silver Cross. You know, it wasn't what, it didn't have the qualities and the materials that Silver Cross stands for, and so that was a big challenge and a big learning curve for me. You know, we put so much effort into that, and it was an interesting exercise to see it come out the other end, and it be it didn't really represent the brand values, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that was a challenge.
Challenging thing as a designer, where you have this vision and you want it to be a certain way, function a certain way, and then when you actually have to get to the manufacturing of the product, there are sort of compromises you have to make, or you want this and you have this vision for that, and to actually have everything comes to fruition sounds like an incredibly frustrating experience, because it's you're not the one like making every product, making every single product for thousands of them across the country.
Yeah, I think it is. It can be frustrating, but it's hugely rewarding as well. You know, when it goes right, it's a massive buzz to see it, finished and in stores and people enjoying using them. So I think there are frustrations, but it's hugely rewarding. And I think our teams, really throughout the business, that is the key to it. Building a really, really fabulous team, and we can usually resolve everything or anything with the people that we've got.
Product that we're really excited about Magic Beans is the Coast. It's such a great product, and our customers are loving it. We love how the bassinet can be put on top and the toddler on the front. It's just such, like you're saying before, like a real world usage of the product, and it's just something that we're like super passionate about. So thank you so much for developing that product. It's just a terrific thing. So great. Just want to thank you while I have you here on the.
Thanks, Ellie. Really appreciate it. It really makes a difference when we've got people like you, supporting us and working with us, and really getting behind the product. As you know, I'm a product nut, so I will go on about it all day if you let me.
Yeah, it's true. When Phil first showed me the Coast like 2 years ago, when you go to trade shows, there are these like secret rooms. You go behind door number 1, these super embargoed products. And we were in Florida, and Phil said, "Oh, I have to show you the new product," and he showed me the Coast, and he was like showing me the handlebar and the little detail and all that. He just went on, and like he could go on and on about that stuff. So it's and it came to fruition, and like I said, people are loving it. So I also know that you are also developing new products. So tell me, so you have the Wave, you have the Coast, you have the Jet. Those are the products in America that we're focused on right now. Where do you see the products going for Silver Cross? And you have this like such great foundation.
Yeah, I think we've always had a very ambitious program of product development, and that continues on. The team are working obviously from home and remotely, but we're trying pretty much to carry on as normal, and that's pretty much happening. We've got a massive commitment to developing the wheels range for Silver Cross. For us, it's all about making sure that we maintain the brand values and the product qualities that we've got in those 3 products, and just develop more and develop them on as well, and make them better and better. I think a big part of being a product designer is this idea that, make it better, introduce new unique features, things that are going to make lives easier and more enjoyable and a joy to use. And so we are developing next generation. Obviously we have to, and that's all going to be coming your way soon. Hopefully we can get together and I can take you through them.
Well, I think it's so great to hear you say that, because something that's sort of frustrating for me as brands come to us all the time showing us new products, it's always like new, bring in new things, the next thing, the new thing. And I always say to them, the best products that we see are the products like you're saying, where there's like evolution and evolvement and constant improvement within the products that are being made already. I saw that definitely between the 2019 to 2020 jet, right? You had a great platform, you had a great baseline, and then you just upgraded it in just this constant improvement. And I kind of feel like that is in my experience, and again, I'm not a product designer, I'm just like a YouTube guy, uh, that that's where the secret sauce is when you're constantly sort of developing and the things that you have, in addition to creating sort of new and innovative products.
Yeah, I think that's right. We're obsessed with getting things as good as they possibly can be. And I think we also look at lifestyles, and different, what I call consumer segments or consumer lifestyles. We know people live in different ways and everybody's different. And so the needs are different. And so that does drive a lot of the new stuff. And we still, I think, have a way to go to provide certain sort of category, if you like, of product in the wheels in the stroller market. So we look at that a lot as well. We look at consumers and profiling them and what how do they live and how do they use our product. So that will often drive new stuff as well.
Yeah. So again, I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Definitely, we're huge supporters of Silver Cross, and I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time today to sort of talk to me. I learned a lot. I'm super inspired about your products, re-inspired about your products. And if you have any questions or thoughts about Silver Cross or any of the strollers, you could just drop a comment below on whatever platform you are watching. You can email us your questions to questions@mbeans.com. Give us a call. And remember, Silver Cross products, the Wave, the Coast, and the Jet are all available from Magic Beans with free shipping. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time today, Phil. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Same to you, Ellie. Good to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye. And you.